All right, fight fans and YouTube warriors. Uncle Ace is back in the house, and boy, do we have a spicy story that's hotter than a jalapeno dipped in ghost pepper sauce. Before we dive into this sizzling tale, smash that like button faster than Virgil Ortiz right hand and subscribe quicker than Robert Garcia can shout Manos Arriba. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So gather round, folks, cause we're about to talk about Virgil Ortiz Jr., the man who hit so hard he could probably knock out a brick wall if you let him, and who's spilling the beans on this human wrecking ball. None other than the legendary Robert Garcia, a man who's trained more champions than I've had hot dinners. Picture this: Virgil Ortiz, a young gun with more firepower than a Texas BBQ, is gearing up to face Sir Bohachuk. Now, Bohachuk ain't no pushover. The man's got more wins than a casino, and he hits harder than your mama when you forget to take out the trash. But according to Garcia, Ortiz is so fired up, they're having to hold him back like he's a pit bull who just spotted a steak. Garcia, in his infinite wisdom, and boy, does that man have wisdom, he's forgotten more about boxing than most of us will ever know, drops this bombshell: we have to hold him back now. Let that sink in deeper than an Ortiz body shot. They're not pushing him to train harder. They're not begging him to put in more rounds. No, they're having to restrain this kid like he's the Hulk and they forgot the lullaby. It's like Ortiz watched all the Rocky movies back to back and decided, you know what? I'm going to make those training montages look like a lazy Sunday afternoon. The man's probably punching sides of beef so hard, butchers across Texas are filing complaints. But here's where it gets interesting, folks. Garcia ain't just blowing smoke. He's as honest as a child who hasn't learned to lie yet. When he says they're holding Ortiz back, you better believe it's true. It's like they've got a tiger by the tail, and that tiger's been mainlining Red Bull and protein shakes. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Uncle Ace, isn't it good that Ortiz is training so hard? And sure, dedication is great. But there's a fine line between dedication and destruction. It's like the difference between a well-done steak and a lump of charcoal. You gotta know when to take it off the heat. Garcia, being the boxing Yoda that he is, knows that too much of a good thing can be bad. It's like eating ice cream. One scoop is heavenly, but try to eat the whole tub and you'll be praying to the porcelain god faster than you can say brain freeze. They're trying to keep Ortiz from burning out before the big fight. It's all about peaking at the right time, not peaking 3 weeks early and showing up to the fight looking like he's already gone 12 rounds with a grizzly bear. But let's take a moment to appreciate the sheer audacity of Ortiz. This kid's got more hunger than a starving artist at an all-you-can-eat buffet. He's not just eager to fight, he's chomping at the bit so hard he might need a new mouthpiece before he even steps in the ring. It's like he's got something to prove, and boy, is he proving it. Training so hard that your coaches have to hold you back. That's not just dedication, that's borderline insanity. But hey, in boxing, sometimes you gotta be a little crazy to be great, right? Now, let's talk about what this means for Bohachuk. Imagine you're him, hearing that your opponent is training so hard his own team is trying to slow him down. It's gotta be more intimidating than facing Mike Tyson in a dark alley. Bohachuk's probably training harder than ever, just to keep up with the mere idea of what Ortiz is doing. But here's the kicker. Fight fans, all this hype, all this intensity, it doesn't mean squat once that bell rings. Boxing isn't just about who trains the hardest or who wants it the most. It's about who can execute on fight night. It's like baking a cake. You can have the best ingredients in the world, but if you can't put it all together when it counts, you're just left with a mess and a disappointed sweet tooth. So what does all this mean for the fight? Well, it's like shaking up a soda. Can you know something explosive is going to happen when you pop that top? But you don't know exactly what. Will Ortiz come out like a raging bull and steamroll Bohachuk? Or will all this intense training leave him flatter than a pancake run over by a steamroller? One thing's for sure, this fight's going to be more exciting than a fireworks factory catching fire. You've got Ortiz, a man so amped up his own team's playing defense against him, versus Bohachuk, a fighter who's probably training like he's preparing for the boxing apocalypse. It's a recipe for mayhem, and I, for one, can't wait to see it. So there you have it, folks. Virgil Ortiz, the man who trains so hard his coaches need a leash and a muzzle to hold him back. It's a testament to his dedication, his drive, and maybe a little bit of that good old-fashioned boxing crazy that makes this sport so damn exciting. Now, if this breakdown had you more hyped than Ortiz in training camp, Don't forget to smash that like button harder than one of his body shots. If it got you more fired up than Robert Garcia trying to calm down Ortiz, go ahead and subscribe faster than Virgil's hand speed. And if you've got thoughts on whether Ortiz is going to come out like a house on fire or burn out before the big show, drop EM in the comments quicker than an Ortiz combination. This is Uncle Ace reminding you that in boxing, like in life, sometimes the hardest fight is knowing when to pull your punches. Stay sharp, keep your guard up, and remember sometimes the biggest fights happen outside the ring. Peace out, fight fans.